Press is not allowed, but I hope you'll say something very newsworthy. I won't tell anyone. You're not allowed to report on this. Oh, sorry. We're started. Well, welcome, everybody. This is a session on new frontiers in physics. It's been 6 years since that glorious day when people walked out at CERN and announced that they had discovered the Higgs boson, or the evidence for the Higgs boson. I think the Higgs boson decay particle is now been seen, or evidence for that, or the decay process. But it's uncertain, really, where we go from here. At least the public, I think, is maybe a little confused about what's next. And so this is a chance for us to hear from people who are prepared to give us the straight poop, as it were. We have an hour session. There will be time for questions from the audience, so please, if you have them, we'd be happy to hear them when the time comes. I think we'll probably have a microphone to pass around. And when you have a question, if you wouldn't mind identifying yourself, just so we know who we're talking to. So without any other announcements to make, I'll simply introduce our speakers. To my immediate left is Fabiola Giannotti. She's the Director General of the European Organization for Nuclear Research, which is better known, I think, as CERN. And as I learned, just become a member of the Board of Trustees of the World Economic Forum. So congratulations on that. And to her left is Wang Yifang, the professor at the Institute of High Energy Physics of the Chinese Academy of Sciences here in the People's Republic of China. So Fabiola Giannotti, can I start with you? The frontiers of high energy physics, where are we now? I mean, there's a temptation for science writers to say, we've discovered everything there is to discover, so you can all pack up and go home now, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, right. So it's a very interesting questions. First of all, good morning, everyone. So it's a very exciting time for fundamental physics, for particle physics, because, as you said correctly, on the one hand, we have the impression that we know that we have learned a lot. So essentially we have a theory called the Standard Model of Particle Physics that describes the elementary particles that we have observed so far in a very precise and correct way, in the sense that all the particles that have been predicted by the Standard Model have been discovered. These are the particles that make up the ordinary matter of which we are made, electrons and quarks. These are also the particles that transfer the interaction, the fundamental interaction at the microscopic level, like the photon that is responsible for transferring the electromagnetic force. And we have now the Higgs boson, which was the only missing piece of the Standard Model, and is a very special particle because it plays a very important role in the evolution of the universe and also in our own existence, because it's a very specific role in the mechanism that gives mass to the elementary particles, which is fundamental for the evolution of the universe. This theory has been verified with very high precision by experiments and facilities across the world at CERN, but also in many other laboratories in the US, in Asia. And so it works very well. Now, the problem is that this theory, although it is correct, it's not complete. Not being complete means that there are many open questions out there to which the Standard Model is not able to answer. So the template of the question is what we call the dark universe. So to give you an idea of the magnitude of the problem, today with the Standard Model and the theories we know, we understand only 5% of the universe. The rest is unknown. This means it's made of forms of energy and matter that cannot be explained with the theories that we have today, with the Standard Model. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, if you consider dark matter, which is about 25% of the universe, it's called dark because of our ignorance about its composition, but also dark because it doesn't interact with our instruments. So we deduce its presence from indirect evidence, like gravitational motion of galaxies. Well, there is no single particle in the Standard Model, no single particle of those that we have discovered so far that can explain the properties of dark matter. So it's an exciting time because, of course, we scientists, we like very much to understand things, but we are even more happy when we don't understand things, because it means that there is still a lot to find. So dark matter, dark energy, matter-antimatter asymmetry in the universe, and many, many other open questions today cannot be simply explained with what we know. So there is a full territory to explore. And also the very exciting things is that there is no single instrument today among those that humanity has developed, from accelerator to telescopes, underground detector, etc., that can give us the guarantee to address and answer successfully all the questions. So the only way we have to understand the mysteries is to deploy in parallel all the experimental approaches and all the instruments that we have developed, thanks also to strong advances in technology for accelerator, detectors, and other instruments. And that's why also particle physics is becoming more and more global, because we cannot afford, building 10 times the same instruments. We need to coordinate across the globe so that we maximize the chances to address the questions and being able to answer them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wang Yifeng, do you want to add something to that? Because I think it also asks the question, well, what do we need that doesn't exist right now in terms of facilities?
I agree very much what just Fabiola said. What we understood from the standard model and also the existing experimental facts could not coherently and completely describe our universe. And we have a number of issues which cannot be described by the standard model. For example, there is no dark matter particles in the framework of standard model. We are not able to understand the dark energy. We have a lot of issues like even the mass of Higgs itself, we don't understand that very well. So there are a number of issues we have to address using the new instruments. So I think it is now the time for us to think globally and also to coordinate globally, that we go different approaches and try different roads and try in the end to find the final solutions. So no one can tell which one is the only right one. So we have to try all the different approaches.
So I should say, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Joe Palca. I'm a reporter for NPR and at National Public Radio. It's a radio network in the United States. And the question from what you just said is, when you have to talk to people, because I have to talk to people who don't know anything about the high energy physics world, and the question they always ask me is, why is this important? Why do we have to spend so much money to answer these questions? What is this the best thing we should be spending our money on? So how do you must be faced those questions as well. How do you answer them?
The first time.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, that was clever of me then, really. That's really good.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure my answer is ideal, it's perfect, it's correct, but I try my best. Very often we have to face, as you said, government officials, funding agencies, general public, journalists, and so on. So we have to explain why we want to go this way and why we need to spend this money on the pure science projects. So I think, first of all, I think a science dream is really take us to a new stage. I think the human beings, if you don't have a science dreams, if you don't have the kind of driving force to force you to look for something new, as a human being, we're not going to move forward. I think in the last thousands of years, we managed to end up here is because we have our dreams. So I think we should not lose this kind of dreams. And secondly, of course, when you understand something, you may try to use it. But this is not our the first goal. But as a byproduct, in the end, you will benefit from this kind of discoveries, new technology tools, and so on. And thirdly, I think this kind of large science project, which could unite the effort by all the countries, all different people, is actually a good way for peace, for global benefit, and also for training of the young scientists, because the innovation for the society very